Okay, this is video 3 in my group's coil gun project. I've only made some incremental improvements, and this will probably be the last video for a little while, simply because I'm reaching the practical limit of this charging circuit here that I stole from a disposable camera. Now, as you can see, I've got the same 5 capacitor bank. I actually made a spare one, or not a spare, but a supplemental capacitor bank that I can plug into the original, but it doesn't seem to make much of a difference, at least when I ran tests. So we're not going to be using it right now. I've got the same camera flash charging circuit. The only difference is I have the switch that you use to charge the circuit wired into the main switch here, and I've labeled it so that I don't so that there aren't any more misfires as far as me turning the switch. Also, instead of using a battery, which you saw in the last video was plugged into the back side of this charging circuit, I've actually got red and black leads hooked up to my DC power supply, which is putting out 1.5 volts DC. So we'll go ahead and charge this guy up and run a couple of, I'll show you what it can do. Now, I haven't really made any changes to the, there we go, to the circuit itself for charging. However, I am using a new coil. Now, if you'll remember in the last video, I was using this spool of wire as my firing coil. Well, this it has thick insulation, this wire, and it's not really very good for what we're doing here. I was also firing this little nut, which it's small, but it's got a lot of mass, so we won't be using that either. I made this coil. I wrapped some magnet wire around a pencil, just like you see in some other YouTube videos, and I covered it with a layer of VHS tape, and then a layer of electrical tape to hold everything in place. So that should help keep the magnetic field constricted to just the coil, or just the area around the coil. I'll also be firing this little nail here, which is let's see, which is a lot lower mass than the nut, so it should be able to travel a little bit faster. Now, as you can see, I moved the LED for the camera charging circuit onto the top of the box here, so we can see when it's ready to go. So let's go ahead and plug this guy in. There's one green lead. We'll plug in the other green lead. All right. Go ahead and get this nail in place. Let's move the DC power supply. Okay. Now, I'll be firing at this box over here. Now this may actually move too fast for the camera to catch, but let's see if it works. Yeah, I couldn't really see that. Hopefully you couldn't yet. Alright, I lost my nail, so let's grab another piece of nail. And we'll do it again. Go ahead and stick this guy in here. Now it'll just take a couple of moments to charge here. You'll see this light come on. There's the light. And I'm watching the amperage on my DC power supply drop, so I'll fire it when it's complete. There we go. And fire. You can see it's not enough to penetrate the cardboard box, but it produces a lot more force, or a lot more speed than this coil moving this little nut. So it's a little more impressive. The charging time is kind of a letdown because you have to sit here and listen to me talk. But the only way to increase the power would be to increase the capacitance of the circuit, which means adding more capacitors. But then we run into to other problems with the flash and the circuit board with the camera flash and everything. It's a lot more complicated than I can really get into in this video. But we'll just fire this one more time as an example, and there we go. And that's this little nail being shot out of this homemade coil. And yeah, it's enough force to cut through paper. That's about it. Hopefully I'll be able to build something that has a little bit more power than that, but for right now, that's all we can do.